In this video, I'm breaking down the most powerful takeaways from atomic habits, not just what they are, but how to actually use them to transform your life. I'll show you how to build habits that stick without relying on willpower, using a method that's simple, fun, and actually works. And if you stick around till the end, you might never need motivation again. Let's dive in. Here's the big idea behind atomic habits. It's not about making huge, dramatic changes overnight, but small, consistent changes that compound over time. Imagine you're flying from LA to New York, but the pilot shifts the nose of the plane by just 3 degrees south. Tiny, right? Barely noticeable. But you don't end up in New York. You end up in Washington, D.C. A small shift completely changes the destination. Same with your habits. Let's say you decide to read 1 page a day. Just one. Do that every day for a year and you've read 365 pages. That's like a full book or two. Most people quit right before the magic happens. James calls it the plateau of latent potential. It's like trying to melt an ice cube in a 25-degree room. You turn it to 26, then 27, still frozen. 28, 29, 30, nothing. Then at 32 degrees, drip. Finally, it starts to melt. But all those degrees before, they mattered. They were building pressure. That's how habits work. All right, let's talk about goals for a second. Because yeah, they sound great on paper. I want to lose 20 pounds. I'm going to write a book. I'll save 10K this year. Sounds cool. But here's the thing. Focusing too much on goals can actually mess you up. Why? Because goals are temporary. You hit the goal, then what? You lose 10 pounds? Awesome. But if you didn't build the habit of eating better or moving daily, that weight's coming back faster than you can say cheat day. Goals are the results you want. Habits are the processes that lead you there. So yeah, set the goal if you want, but forget about obsessing over it. Build the habit, build the system, and the result, it just becomes inevitable. James Clear makes it super simple. He broke it down into 4 steps. They go like this: cue, craving, response, and reward. He turned those into 4 laws to help us build good habits or even break bad ones without forcing ourselves to rely on willpower all the time. Every habit starts with a cue, something that triggers it. Then comes the craving, the urge, then the response, the actual behavior, and finally the reward, the part your brain goes, yes, that felt good, let's do that again. Step 1, make it obvious. So here's the deal. If you want a habit to stick, it's got to start with a cue, like a trigger. Your brain needs a clear signal that says, hey, it's time to do this thing. And if that cue isn't obvious, you'll skip it. Not because you're lazy, just because you literally forgot. I used to tell myself, I want to drink more water every day. Did I? No, because the water bottle was in my bag, or under a pile of clothes, or in the other room. My brain wasn't seeing a cue, so it never kicked in. Then I put the bottle on my desk, right next to my laptop. I started sipping all day without even thinking about it. That's how powerful a simple cue can be. You can do this with anything. This is known as environment design. Basically, you shape your space so it nudges you into the habit without needing to remember it. Want to eat healthier? Put fruit on the counter and hide the junk food. Want to read more? Put the book on your pillow so it's staring at you before bed. Our brains love shortcuts. If the cue is visible, your habit becomes way more automatic. There is another trick called habit stacking. You take a habit you already do, something automatic like brushing your teeth or making coffee, and you stack your new habit on top of it. Instead of saying, I'll meditate sometime today, you say, after I make my morning coffee, I'll meditate for 1 minute. That cue, the coffee, becomes the anchor. You just made your new habit obvious and automatic. Step 2, make it attractive. Our brains chase what feels rewarding, what's exciting, what has a little sparkle. That's why scrolling TikTok is easier than opening a book, and Netflix pulls you in faster than your to-do list. Those things are designed to be attractive. So if we want good habits to compete, we got to make them just as tempting, because if a habit feels boring, hard, or just lame, you're going to avoid it, period. The trick to make habits exciting is bundling your habits with something you already enjoy. Like, say you want to watch your favorite show, but you also want to get fit. So you make a deal with yourself. I only watch Netflix while I'm on the exercise bike. Now suddenly, the bike isn't punishment. It's the ticket to Netflix. That's attraction. We can also hack this with social stuff. If you hang out with friends who go to the gym, you're probably going to start going. Not because of pressure, just because it feels normal. That's why even watching videos like this changes you. You're shifting your environment just enough to make good habits feel cooler, more natural. So ask yourself, how can I make this habit more enjoyable? How can I make it feel rewarding while I'm doing it, not just after? Step 3, make it easy. Most people don't fail because they're lazy or unmotivated. They fail because they make habits too hard to start. We think building a new habit means overhauling our entire life. Like, I'm going to get in shape, and suddenly you're buying supplements, planning 90-minute gym sessions, watching form tutorials, tracking macros. It's way too much. So your brain's like, no thanks. Too hard. Let's scroll instead. That's why this law exists. Make it super easy. Make starting the habit so effortless that it takes almost no motivation to begin. The 2-minute rule. Any habit you want to build should take less than 2 minutes to start. You're not committing to the full task, you're just showing up. And that's what matters. Because once you're in motion, your brain's like, all right, we're already here, might as well keep going. And this works so well because starting is everything. Once you start, momentum kicks in. You read 1 page, you might read 10, you lace up your shoes, you might just step outside and jog around the block. But even if you don't, you still won. Because you showed up. You kept the habit alive. You can also prime your environment to make things easier. If you want to play guitar more, don't keep it in the case. Leave it out on a stand where you can see it. Step 4. Make it satisfying. Our brain is basically a toddler. It wants instant gratification. If something feels good right now, it wants more of it. If it doesn't, it ghosts. That's how we survived as cavemen, right? Eat berries, taste sweet. Let's find more berries. Touch fire, pain. Never again. That's why habits like scrolling social media or eating chips are so easy. They hit you with that little dopamine spike immediately. Meanwhile, good habits, working out, saving money, reading, they feel kind of meh in the moment. The payoff comes later and your brain's like, I'll pass. So how do we flip that? One super simple way is tracking it. Tracking a habit gives your brain a mini reward. You check off a little box or cross off a day or move a bead on a string and it feels weirdly good. You can also use an app, a notebook, a wall chart, whatever feels fun. The key is to see your win. Celebrate immediately. I'm not talking confetti cannons and champagne. I mean, even just a fist bump, a little heck yeah to yourself, or a mini dance. Sounds silly, but your brain notices. That little spike of joy reinforces the habit. You could even pair the habit with a reward. Like, if I write for 30 minutes, I get 10 minutes of guilt-free TikTok. Just like in Law 2, you're stacking something fun on top, so it feels satisfying and productive. Basically, you're teaching your brain, when we do this habit, we feel good. That's the loop. That's what makes it stick. Alright, so now we've covered all 4 laws. But before we wrap, there's one more thing that ties it all together. And honestly, it might be the most important part. The core of atomic habits. If the 4 laws are the engine, this right here is the steering wheel. Let me give you an example. 2 people who are trying to quit are offered a cigarette. One says, no thanks, I'm trying to quit. The other says, no thanks, I'm not a smoker. Same situation. But the second person, they're not just rejecting the cigarette, they're rejecting the identity of a smoker. That's deep, that's sticky, and way more likely to last. James Clear says, real change doesn't happen when you focus on what you want to achieve. It happens when you focus on who you want to become. Every time you choose a salad over fries, your brain goes, oh, I guess we are the kind of person who eats healthy. Every time you write a paragraph, you're casting a vote for I'm a writer. You go for one 10-minute walk? That's a vote for I take care of my body. So here's the final thing I want you to remember. You don't need a giant transformation overnight. You just need one small win, and then another, and then another. That's how atomic habits work. Tiny changes, tiny votes, repeated over time. So don't wait for January. Don't wait for motivation. Start today. Start small. Start now. Because your habits are building your future, whether you notice or not. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button and subscribe for more.